Well, Google and the Cuban government have struck a deal to allow faster access to the company's data. It will allow the internet giant to install servers on the island that will store much of the company's most popular content. And that could improve internet speeds for those using its services in Cuba. It's estimated that only about 5% of people in Cuba have internet access. The government there, though, has worked to try to boost access by providing Wi-Fi hotspots in some major cities, but service is extremely slow and pretty expensive, about $2 an hour. To talk more now about this deal is our tech expert Ryan Eldridge. And Ryan, getting servers on the island is, of course, the first big step. The U.S. has no direct data line to Cuba, so right now Google data must travel long distances through Venezuela to the nearest server.
Yeah, and this speeds up all access to like internet searches and YouTube and other Google products, but not to the internet as a whole. Like you said in the intro there, most Cubans, 11 million of them, don't have access to the internet at all, and so it's slowly being rolled out. And those Wi-Fi hotspots that the government's been installing in parks and other public places, while relatively slow and only available about 3% of Cubans, cost about $2 an hour. Which, when you think about the average monthly Cuban income, is $25 a month. So it can be out of touch for most Cubans to be able to get a hold of. It gives them some faster access to Google, but not to the internet at large. And here's the interesting thing about it is that because they're storing the data on servers on the island, it gives it kind of a leg up on some of the Obama-sponsored projects where the U.S. telecommunications companies have come in trying to bolster Cuba's infrastructure in their telecommunications industry. And Cuba's kind of expressed that they're a little hesitant about that because they're afraid of state-sponsored access to Cuban networks, and that could possibly cause them some security issues in the future.
Yeah, but I would expect that now that relations with Cuba have normalized, if you will, that we're going to see more deals like this struck in the future, huh?
Yeah, well, it depends on the new administration when they come in, what their plans are, but it's certainly a good first step to allowing Google into the country and allowing them to do this kind of service. It gives us sort of access to move further and create better deals.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, let's get back to that Russian hacking. And really, there are two big issues here. What was the goal of the Russian hackers, and what was the extent of the hacking, right?
Yeah, so as of now, we can't necessarily conclude with definitive that this was a state-sponsored hack, but we certainly know that the hacks started in Russia, and the security community came out on Friday and said that they think that it is likely to influence the election and not just to cause havoc here in the U.S., which is kind of interesting because the DNC got a lot of press about the fact that they were hacked and thousands of emails were released, but also the RNC was also hacked and nothing from them was released. Now, the Republican committee is saying that they weren't hacked, or whatever information was taken was insignificant and probably not salacious enough for them to release, and that is why, not necessarily making any kind of political leaning from Russia specifically.
Yeah, but boy, Ryan, it's going to be tough, right, to locate these hackers and actually hold someone accountable, huh?
It certainly is. Well, that's why they're calling for a bipartisan investigation into this, because we just need to know more information. John McCain on CNN today is saying that it is tantamount to an act of war from Russia, and that's some pretty serious words when you consider, a scale of this magnitude. What if it really did influence our election? And what if a bad character, so to speak, or a bad actor, so to speak, can influence our U.S. elections? Who knows what could happen?
Yeah. All right. Ryan Eldridge, always appreciate your perspective. Again, we will be staying tuned to see what happens with that investigation. Thanks so much.